Yeah, we're live.
Ooh.
Welcome to the people of Portland and beyond, episode 38. I am talking high-low art space today. I got Connor and Che in studio today. Hope I said that right. How you guys doing?
Hi. Doing good. Pretty good.
I had initially met you because I was doing some portrait posing.
Yeah. We have a portrait class Tuesday night. Hit us up.
Nice. So yeah, I really liked Connor's rendition of me. It's pretty good. When did you first start doing art?
Oh man.
It was funny. We actually started around the same time, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so. We've both been like drawing on and off, since pretty early on, but started taking it like more seriously like about 2 years ago, I guess.
Okay.
2 years ago? 3 years ago?
I think about 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah. It was for me, I started to consider it pretty seriously in high school, but I never really started drawing until after high school. And I met Connor about an year after high school, and you're kind of in a similar place, I think.
And you were a lifelong Portland resident?
Yeah, I was born in Corvallis, and I moved to Cedar Mill when I was 6.
Nice.
Yeah, so been in Portland since then, except for an year in San Diego County. Yeah.
And Connor, where were you before you came here?
Well, we were going to the same school down in San Diego.
Yeah.
But I was born in the Bay Area and lived there most of my life.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What are some differences that you've noticed since living here?
Definitely weather. It's the first obvious one that everyone will probably tell you. But different community vibes. I think definitely people are pretty friendly around here.
The art scene's great.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you notice any differences in the art scenes here and then over in California?
Honestly, most of my time at school was at school. So
Yeah.
But I think there's definitely more of like a kind of artsy vibe just in Portland in general.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a really big indie community. When we went to school in San Diego, it was kind of a beach town, so a lot of like surfers and a lot of like really rich people with these enormous like vacation homes. So yeah, definitely not as much of a young artist and an art scene like they have here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in San Diego, the city, but we didn't get down there as much as we would have liked, maybe.
Right.
And what artists have inspired you growing up?
Oh man,
It's a big one.
I think there's a long list, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Let's cover, I guess, traditional art, and then we could go into comics and things.
Sure, yeah. I guess old school like painters. Man, there's a lot.
So we got. I think Dali I like a lot.
Oh, cool, yeah.
What do you? I don't know.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask, like, you mean specifically when we were younger, or
I guess what inspired you initially to start art? Is there any particular artist that you were like appreciated when you were younger, and you're like, I want to do some art?
Right. Yeah, I don't know if like for me, anyways, there was like a specific artist like from a really young age. I always like drawing and just kind of the physical act of doing that and observing things. Yeah, I think part of the push for me was in high school. I had an art teacher who was pretty influential. I just never really thought of art kind of in the ways that she's kind of describing it. Starting to see things like deeper, and I think that's part of the big appeal for me is, for art, you can, it's the observation side,
Yeah.
You go somewhere and you can look at something and really see it, spend the time, and, if you're drawing, you take a longer time looking at things.
So you have a more critical eye.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. I think for me, a really influential artist was Ruan Jia. He's a Chinese painter and concept artist.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, it was I was a junior or senior in high school, and I was doing 3D computer graphics. I kind of had an interest in visual arts at the time,
Yeah.
but I didn't take to painting because I felt like it was something you needed to have some sort of ability in, and I felt like that was kind of a sort of towering, like, oh man, I can't paint. But
you working on an Amiga?
Huh?
Would you work on an Amiga computer back then?
No, I would work on a Blender. Have you heard of it?
No, that's an interesting one.
Oh, it's a 3D graphics suite. I just use a Windows computer. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like an open source 3D software, and I would do like hard surface modeling. I did a car, and I did like
CAD.
Yeah, kind of like that. Sort of like
architectural.
More like vehicles and stuff at the time.
Okay.
Really, and like I did some Daft Punk helmets. I remember that I really was proud of.
Nice.
But it's at one point I was browsing. I think it was CG Society, which at the time was one of the bigger forums for like computer graphics and art.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the paintings by Ron Gia, and I kind of realized at that point, like, there's no way you can get this effect using 3D software. It has to be hand painted. And that's how you really get a really expressive, kind of glowing effect.
Yeah.
That guy's just so good at painting. And so I was like, maybe I should give this a shot. And then, the more I looked into it, the more I started doing it. And so that was kind of like a really influential artist, kind of a turning point in the way I approached art.
Were you drawing on the tablet before traditional canvas?
No, actually, it was mostly using the mouse. So I would do kind of vertex by vertex modeling. So yeah, you can definitely use tablets for 3D modeling, and especially if you're doing sculpting, it's really important. But yeah, at the time I wasn't really using a tablet, just a mouse. And then I kind of went full traditional, and now I'm trying to incorporate more digital back into my workflow.
Nice.
So yeah, it's kind of been a back and forth.
Do you think it helped that you learned digital first? Because it was almost like it's so hard to translate into the digital world, but now you have that upper hand.
I don't know. I think one thing that might have helped is having an understanding of kind of a forms in space in an abstract sense, like
dimensions.
Exactly.
X,
yeah.
Y.
So, yeah, exactly. Like kind of the XYZ dimensions, like you're saying. Exactly. So when you're using a 3D software, you're manipulating stuff in 3 dimensions, but of course the screen is flat. And so I think it might have helped me come to a better understanding of the relationship between a flat surface and like the illusion of 3D space.
Yeah.
Which sometimes can take a little while for newer artists. I didn't really think of it much at the time, but in hindsight, I think it might have helped.
Mm.
Yeah.
Did you play video games growing up at all?
Not really.
Yeah, not so much.
I was wondering if you were inspired by any of that art, or what about comics? What kind of kid things in art inspired you?
I think you read some comics, right?
Yeah, I read Tintin was like my thing when I was in elementary school, and I really liked those kinds of French comics like Tintin and Asterix.
Nice.
When I got into middle school and high school, I started reading a lot of other comics. I started with like DC, Marvel, superhero comics, but I kind of got tired of those because there's only so many stories you can write about Spider-Man before you get bored of reading about Spider-Man.
Right.
So I started reading a lot of Japanese stuff, a lot of European stuff. So there's definitely a lot of influence from those kinds of artists. Yeah, not so many video games. I played Rayman, which I really liked. I don't know if you.
Yeah, that's
the
a good side scroller.
Yeah.
Nice one.
I never beat it though.
I didn't beat the Rayman I have on PS4, so it's a very long game.
Is it the new one or the original?
It's called Rayman Origins, so I think it's like a remake of the old Rayman or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
They never make the first one something Origins, you know?
Yeah, right.
It's like some sort of remake trying to
usually
look back. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like to a degree, everyone is sort of influenced visually throughout their childhood, even if they're not aware of it. Like you had that book, right, Connor, that you showed me once. It was a picture book, right?
I need more context.
I mean, I think it was Dutch or something.
Oh man.
I remember you showing me a picture book. Like I really liked this one ever since I was a kid.
Okay, yeah.
And I think
there's a few of those.
When you're reading picture books as a kid.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone gravitates towards certain different things, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Pop-up books, I remember those.
Pop-up books.
I was always amazed by those.
Yeah.
So the first time you open it, you go, "Oh wow!"
Yeah, especially like the really elaborate ones.
Like, yeah, there's some pretty wild stuff.
Yeah,
those are really cool. Yeah,
definitely.
I haven't seen a lot of those recently.
I went to the Japanese garden last summer, and they had like a pop-up book with all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
It was also like $40. So I was like, this was fun to look at.
It's like a lot to go into the designing of how that works, even.
Yeah.
Like,
Probably producing them is
It's
difficult, right? How do you mass produce like such an elaborate?
I know.
I mean, laser cutting.
It's got to be a very specified field, because like how many people know how to create a pop-up book, you know?
Yeah, right.
Like how, I mean, I guess there's YouTube videos on how to do it. There is nowadays everywhere. But
Right. There's some sort of specific knowledge that you need to translate that.
yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
So you guys have anything coming up at Hilo Art Space?
Yeah, we have several things. I have have a show coming up starting this May 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's going to be an opening from 6 to 10 p.m. So if anyone listening wants to come out to that, there'll be some food and some drinks and some cool art. So come check it out.
What date was that?
May 3rd. It's a celebration of the founder of the space, Jim Guion, passed away last year. So it's kind of a celebration of life for him at A1 Bird Bath, Art Space.
Do you have any stories about him?
Oh man,
Do you want to save it for the event?
He was quite a character. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of stories. I didn't get to know him for very long, but yeah, a great character, always making lots of jokes. He actually has some sculptures up at Oregon Zoo, and there's some other
Japanese American Plaza.
Yeah, right.
He has one called The Immigrant that's I think in Park Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's done a lot of like high scale projects, and also several in Vietnam, I believe.
Yeah.
That's cool. What else?
We got some classes coming up too. In May, we're going to have like a fundamentals of figure drawing class on Monday nights, fundamentals of portrait drawing on Tuesday nights, and then we are also going to have 2 new classes starting up in June, I believe. That we're not sure on the exact days and times, but.
And what skill level usually shows up for these type of classes?
Well, most of the time we get a beginner and intermediate. We do have some students that have been coming for a while now, and so they've progressed quite a ways. But most of the time it's a kind of beginner level. There's not a lot of community around realistic drawing or more academic life drawing like there is in some larger cities like New York or LA. I think there's just not as much of a scene for that in Portland, so we kind of like to help promote that best we can.
Definitely.
Nice.
But yeah,
if you're looking for that kind of thing, come on out. Check us out.
Yeah, I have my friend Lucas from the first episode was just telling me that he just started drawing and he's really into it. Actually, he told me some questions for you guys.
Oh, cool.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
He wanted to know.
Artist versus artist.
He had some interesting questions. Now, do you guys provide the art supplies?
For our instructed classes, we do, or for some of them. And but for our drop-in sessions, yeah, you have to bring your own supply.
Painting.
Oh, yeah. We used to have someone come by a lot. We don't see her as much anymore, but her name is Shannon. But she goes by Six.
Yeah. Oh, I know that girl. She actually did an
really?
episode and we recorded it. I know her personally. We've made music together. That's so funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we recorded an episode and she ended up being self-conscious about it and I deleted that episode.
Oh, no.
It's not really deleted. It's just not released. And she's going to Africa. So
Oh, wow.
she
I
just
didn't know
quit
that.
she was at maybe I shouldn't reveal that, but
Okay.
yeah, so go on with your story about her.
No, yeah, for sure.
She's a messy
Yeah, she's
artist.
a friend of Nate's who was our teacher and mentor. And yeah, she'd come in and she has it's almost incredible. Like she'll start off drawing like anybody else, but she's really creative with how she uses the materials. I've never seen anyone kind of
like the Big Lebowski.
But yeah, no, just like with charcoal, she'd really like get into it. And like by the end there'd be like an enormous amount of charcoal on the floor. And
Yeah.
it was kind of like, it wasn't like how do I say, like I don't think she was doing it intentionally. Like she wasn't trying to make a mess. It was just kind of the way she worked. And it was really interesting because she ended up with a lot of really unique textures and stuff in her drawings. Like it was really cool, but at the same time it was like really amazing that like anyone could come up with this stuff. I remember similarly with painting, like normally people are very shy about putting paint on the brush, and they don't put a lot of oil paints on the brush, and it's a very common beginner mistake. You want to save paint, you want to save money, you don't load up the brush. But like she went to town, right? And like paint was sticking like a centimeter off the canvas, and Nate was looking at this and he's like, that's actually kind of cool. And like 2 weeks later, Nate's painting some bushes or something, and he's putting on the paint the same way.
Nice.
And so it was like, oh hey, that's kind of cool.
She gave me this rock.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, there you go.
Doesn't she collect rocks or something? I forget.
Well, I mean,
maybe she does.
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen to that collection when she goes to Africa.
But... Right. Yeah.
Rock collections are kind of a hard thing to transport.
And all the art that she has. I wonder what she's going to do with all that now. I'm thinking about it. Should put it as a good background for my set.
Yeah.
Some more.
She did clean up though. I'll say that.
That's good.
Yeah. We haven't had anyone that's made a mess and like
left it.
I can't think of anyone. Yeah.
At what point was she? Yeah. Was she? When was she there?
I haven't seen her since Nate left. So since last summer.
Okay.
Yeah, it was probably the last time I saw her. It was last spring or last summer.
Some more questions he had was, have you ever had a really smelly model?
I think you started about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever had to kick anybody out?
Too. Had homeless people come in before and we're like, hi, we're not. Yeah, we got a class going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know about like kicking anyone out really, but yeah, sometimes people walk in and we're like, sorry, come back later, that kind of thing. Yeah.
And his last question was, have you ever had a model come in that was high on drugs and could not perform?
I think we've had models who've come in high and overperformed. Probably.
How do you overperform?
Just really enthusiastic. But
man,
was she like moving around?
Yeah.
I think what we've had is like sometimes people who like came in, they were like really drowsy, and it's like, okay, maybe don't smoke before coming next time. Like portrait class, their eyes are slowly closing.
Falling asleep or something.
Yeah, they just look tired when you're drawing them.
That's not as much of an issue though, I think, because what happens is we usually have a core group of models that we know are very good, and we stick to them, and every once in a while we'll try out new models. And then if they seem like they're good at it and they'd be a good fit for us, then we add them to like our core rotation. So that's a good way to keep things fresh. And of course, oftentimes, some of our best models will have to move or they'll stop modeling, and so it's a good way to kind of keep the pool.
Nice. I was going to ask, when I was doing the posing, was I sitting still enough? Was I too still?
I remember you being pretty still.
Yeah, you were good.
Yeah,
I think the most common thing is someone whose head drifts in a certain direction. They start looking a little too far to the left or right or up or down.
Yeah. Usually it'll be like someone will get in the position, and slowly they'll start to move down or something like that. Every now and then.
Can you just move your head a little towards me?
Can
you just lift your chin up a little bit, and then it kind of continues. But no, you did good. I don't remember. I don't think we even had did we have to shift you at all?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So
there you go.
Yeah, there it is.
Hey.
Such a great job, man.
Nailed it.
Nice. So, if you weren't doing art, what do you think you'd be doing?
Oh man.
Well, you were into music beforehand, right, Connor?
Yeah, I was doing a lot of music before. So yeah, maybe I'd be doing that, or I don't know. It's hard to say,
Yeah.
Life kind of hits you in weird ways.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe computer science for me. I have no idea.
Yeah. How often are you doing landscape stuff like this? And were you on site at the time painting?
Yeah. That one was on site.
Nice.
And I do those like at least once a week. I actually have a class right now, plein air painting in gouache.
Yeah.
That's ongoing, and we're gonna start another round starting in June.
Nice.
At least once a week.
Yeah, I'm like once every.
Okay.
For water soluble media.
And what kind of paint do you use for that? Water paints?
Or you just mix it with water and
Yeah.
yeah, right.
What kind of colors do you tend to go with? Greens and reds normal? I guess if you're outside in Portland, that's what you'd go for.
Yeah.
This is nice. That's what one of the buttes.
Yeah, that's horse beef butte, I think.
I don't even think I heard of that. I thought there was 4 buttes. It was like Kelly and there's Tabor.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know that one.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
We're taking a class with Jim, the guy who we're having a celebration of life for before he passed. Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately didn't get to finish.
Not our main squeeze. So.
Right. Yeah.
Mostly drawing as opposed to painting, or more half and half?
Especially nowadays, it's trying to balance it a lot.
Yeah.
Especially like before, we've been doing a lot of drawing.
Yeah, than I have recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you're doing more life drawing stuff now.
Yeah.
Than I am, anyways.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's good to find a balance because drawing sort of helps reinforce the painting, but ideally, painting is your end goal. So.
Right. Yeah.
I think there's a back and forth that kind of has to happen. Kind of on the back right now. I need to get on the forth.
Where'd this tiger? Where'd you get that?
Oh,
that's his pet tiger.
Yeah, that's my pet tiger.
Like in Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. Yeah. No, it's probably some internet photo. Yeah,
it's a medium is photograph on cell phone.
Yeah.
Year 2018.
That one's Reed Canyon.
Nice. What is this?
It's just my sketchbook.
That is amazing. That's a sketchbook. You can paint in the sketchbook. Wow.
Yeah.
You flip the pages.
Yeah, you can get like watercolor sketchbooks.
That's freaking cool.
Yeah.
It almost looks like a cell phone case when you look at it. That's awesome.
Thanks.
I think it looks better, the painting, than the picture. I'm just like,
thanks.
You made the area look from drab to like beautiful.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I actually just sold that one to a friend in New Mexico.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how many states have you been in the United States?
Man, I don't know the number really.
Most of
Definitely not. No, I don't know about most of them. Yeah.
Give us a guess.
Maybe half.
You've done cross-country road trips then?
Not cross-country, but I did a big kind of like Western States road trip a little over a year ago, which is how I came through and saw the studio actually.
Yeah.
I was driving through, coming back down to California from Washington, came through Portland, met up with this guy. And, yeah.
Where'd you guys meet again?
Well, we met in San Diego at art school.
Yeah. The specific event, though.
The specific event. Probably in class sometime.
Okay.
Probably I was singing the Steel Pulse song and you thought I was crazy.
That's probably exactly how it went down.
Yeah, we had a lot of classes together. It's a small school.
Yeah.
So we ended up hanging out a lot.
Sweet. And what was this at?
Oh yeah, that's near the school actually in San Diego.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me see what else I got for you. So let me see. What did you like about playing music initially when you first started?
What did I like about playing music? When I first started, it was because my parents put a cello in my hands and said, "Here you go." But
so you had cello lessons basically before the cello was in your hands. They had like lessons set up for you and everything.
Or I guess what I'm saying is it was less of like I'd prefer to like play something and more of like here, play something, you know?
Yeah.
But no, I definitely love playing music. Just the feeling that you get, you know, from music it's pretty unique to music, you know. It's a different thing with art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Different emotions, I guess, or different feels.
You guys ever see any concerts around the town or anything?
I haven't been to many around here. Have you?
Yeah, I go to a lot of Indian classical music concerts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my mom is a Hindustani classical vocalist.
Okay.
And so yeah, we get some good stuff. A couple weeks ago we got Ashwini Bhide Deshpande, and she was really good. That was one of the best concerts I've seen in town. So
Nice.
but yeah, mostly Indian classical stuff for me. There was a Shingo 2 concert that I'd figured out about afterwards, and I was like, I should have gone to that.
What's some of your favorite musicians? You like the Beatles?
I mean, these days, for me, I mostly listen to instrumental music in the studio.
Yeah.
I like a lot of post rock. I like Toe a lot. Like Hyake. Like instrumental hip hop is great too. I like Arms and Sleepers. We've both been playing a lot of Nightmares on Wax in the studio.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. Been listening to a lot more like jazz stuff recently. Cannonball Adderley, Chet Baker.
All right.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Nothing like rock based. Except for my album.
Not so much right now, but yeah.
Except for the album by Joseph Addy, which is great.
Yeah, that Yellow Rose album.
So kind of now on Spotify, on Apple Music, on Hulu. Do you have it on Hulu? No.
Hulu. I don't think
everything but Hulu. iTunes, iHeartRadio. What do you call it? Deezer.
You got on Bandcamp? You got Bandcamp?
I was gonna set up a Bandcamp, but it's just so much to set up. I don't have a CD Baby or a Bandcamp.
Okay.
It's kind of older.
Got a YouTube?
Okay.
I do have a YouTube.
Check it out on YouTube.
I got a beef with YouTube, man.
Oh.
They will not monetize.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Because
they said I had invalid click activity or something at one point.
Huh.
What does that mean?
It just means that I clicked my own videos or something.
Hey, you can't watch your own videos.
Right? It was ridiculous. And trying to talk
discount that or something. Say like, oh, your own video. If you click your own video, it doesn't count or something. Instead of blaming you for it.
You're trying to earn 1/10 of a cent by watching your own videos.
Yeah, right.
You can't do that.
And it's then you try to talk to their customer service. It's really impossible.
You get like automated replies and stuff.
Yeah, you got to do this appeal.
Oh yeah.
And like they might reply, they might not ever reply.
I tried to put up a Facebook ad for the classes we got starting.
This has been repeating,
and it's hilarious. This happened earlier when we tried this, but I put up Facebook ads as a ad. And I checked their ad policy. It says that you can't have like suggestive. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll submit the figure drawing. If it gets rejected, no big. So I submit the figure drawing. I submit the poster, and it gets rejected. It says there's nudity. And so I'm like, okay, I'll just I Photoshop like a dress onto the figure drawing.
Yeah.
Because I was really lazy and I didn't want to find a different picture. It took like 30 seconds. It was very lazy, like MS Paint dress. Yeah. And and it's bright red on a black and white drawing. And then it got rejected again. I'm like, okay, they probably just didn't like that I'm being like cheeky with this. So I just changed the picture. I changed it to just a picture of like me drawing at the easel, and they rejected for nudity again. So
he was drawing naked.
I was fully clothed.
Maybe it's because I don't know. Was it a naked man or a naked woman? They could be biased like that.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe I should try it again with a male model, and maybe it'll.
I was thinking it was a male model, and that's why they just put it down.
Oh no! Their example of the Greek statue was a male model, though.
Yeah,
maybe just need the leaf in front.
I think I'm gonna take like.
It was missing the fig leaf, so they rejected it.
Oh man,
it's funny.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, I just got automated replies, which I was, I don't even mind them rejecting. It's their ad policy or whatever. But like, if it's not for something obvious, please just tell me like what I gotta do.
Right. I wish they would just call you and be like, listen, take that out, take this out. But it's impossible to talk to a human with Instagram, YouTube, Facebook.
Yeah.
It's not set up that way.
Too many people on the
it's funny.
On our end.
eBay is the only one. They're so antiquated that you can't even email them or chat with them. You must call them if you're a seller. It's ridiculous.
That's funny.
Yeah, there's no option at all. Like, it's unreal. Like, that's how antiquated eBay is.
Sounds about right.
They're a terrible company. I'd suggest everyone not use eBay unless you need something cheap from like Hong Kong. But other than that, man, I wouldn't do.
Actually, talking about comic, on the far right there. Yeah, it's one of our. I think me and Chaitan's probably favorite comic artist, a Korean guy, Kim Jung-gi.
Nice.
He's so good at art that people think he might be an alien or he might be a savant. So he's gotten tired of this and he started to screw with people. And he tells them stuff like, when I was 6, I got hit in the head by a baseball.
Yeah.
And since then, I've been really good at drawing. Or like, when I was 10, I was abducted by aliens. And when I came back, I was really good at drawing.
Wow.
He's a funny guy. But what makes it especially cool is when he draws, he doesn't plan anything beforehand and he doesn't use any reference. So he's drawing completely out of his head with a pen. And oftentimes it's a very large drawing, sometimes like mural size. Sometimes it's very incredible perspective. Yeah. And he'll draw all kinds of stuff like, Formula One cars and, animals, helicopters, soldiers, just out of his head. It's really difficult. He's kind of a real artist in a sense. A lot of people...
improvisational.
Yeah, it's a really incredible level of skill required to do that.
That's awesome.
Some people might think it's like a bit of a gimmick, like, he's just it's just kind of a little trick. But his art also looks incredible. It's incredibly fresh.
So detailed. I can't believe this one right here.
Yeah. Was that the Stranger Things?
Is that what that is?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. That's crazy, man. You guys ever going to Powell's Books?
Yeah, sure.
Reminds me of that. Or there's a place right up the street called, it's a comic book store, Floating World Comics.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of local art in there.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I've been there. It's a cool spot.
Yeah.
Don't they have like comic shelves that are shaped like dumpsters or something?
They do. Yeah. That's where they keep a lot of the records in there. They have records, I think, in there.
So that's where they keep the records.
Guys aren't analog fans? There's a lot of people that only listen to analog records.
I think records are cool, but I don't have a record player, so
yeah, same.
It's sort of like, yeah, they're neat.
They have a lot of space.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I see the appeal, but like, yeah, I don't know.
Hey, tape cassette is back in, right? You guys listen to tape cassette?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, when people do the art in your studio, what happens to the canvas after you're done? Like, do they get to buy it if they want, or like how does that work?
Like if we do a painting,
like if the students are there and they're painting someone or they're drawing someone, like what happens to all the canvas after you're done? Does it wash out? Like how does that work?
We don't usually provide oil painting supplies for the reason that oil paint and canvas are expensive.
Right.
So for our classes, if we do provide supplies, it's charcoal drawing, and that's a lot more affordable, and so they can just take the drawing with them.
Now I get it. The artist brings the canvas with them and everything that they need to draw. And
right. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Right. Yeah.
I was thinking when I first went there, when I was getting drawn, that you guys provided the canvas. Then I'm like, all right, so what are they going to do with all this canvas? Like these 6 pictures.
Yeah,
we
provide paper, right? But paper is like, 13 cents a sheet, and canvas is like $3 a sheet.
I was wondering how much it costs.
So,
yeah. Do you guys ever use pastel? I remember that's what I worked on when I did art, and that was like the one good thing I worked on was I copied like this tiger from a National Geographic magazine.
Oh, cool.
And it was really good. It was done. I was like, I don't know why I did well with pastel, but no other medium. It seems like pastel worked for me for some reason.
Yeah, it's definitely a different feel than a lot of other mediums. We worked in it a little bit. Chaitan a little more than me, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's fun.
Yeah, I've tried it. It's not like one of my main things right now, but I think it's really gorgeous when you can do it right.
Yeah.
And I think what I see a lot of pastel artists do that I don't necessarily like is when they try to replicate maybe oils or like a very tight kind of feeling. But the pastel drawings that I've seen that have been like really blown me away, they feel like really distinctly like pastel. I think it has a very unique feel to it if you execute it correctly.
Mm-hmm. And when you do paintings, do you mostly do oil painting?
Yeah, I mostly do oil and digital right now are kind of my main thing.
Mm.
And
what was this?
Oh, those are some of Jim's sculptures that I painted
Nice.
last summer. I was going to paint something else actually, and I went to go to get canvas, and I looked at the statues from that angle. They were sitting on the table, and I thought that actually looks kind of cool.
Nice.
And so I posted up over there instead, and I did that painting.
This is pictures you do?
Yeah, those are faster ones. You don't have as much time, so you don't get something that's very like concrete.
Yeah.
But you can get like nice impressions.
What would you tell someone to draw like their first thing? What should they start on?
Anything.
Like a fruit bowl?
I think
you're interested in, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important to draw stuff that you like to draw because it'll help you enjoy it and sort of understand what you want out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important to, in the beginning, draw things that you see in front of you because then you'll understand why things look the way they do.
Yeah.
I think the most common thing with artists who struggle to achieve a representational look they want is that they don't from real life. And then you start to notice like, okay, this is why that feels.
Like, what's the first mistake a beginner artist will make when doing a portrait?
Probably getting super detailed right away.
Yeah.
Putting in all the little things instead of looking at the big picture and making sure that all their shapes kind of fit in the right places.
The most common thing is like, you'll tell them, okay, the shape of the face, the shape of the back of the head, like the whole thing, right? And then you need to work on the details alongside that larger structure because otherwise it'll be difficult to figure out where the eye goes if you don't know where the whole brow shape is and where your skull shape is.
Yeah.
But the most common thing you'll see, like Connor was saying, is like they start the drawing and like in 3 minutes they're working on the eye and they're like putting the highlight in and they haven't put the back of the head in. And they're like, so yeah, it's I think that's even when you get more experience, you're still that's kind of the mistake you'll make, just in a more subtle way.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, if you're really fast at drawing, you're really efficient, and so you just kind of start with the big stuff, you get to the small stuff, and then you finish, and that's what makes you fast. I think golf is like a really good analogy. Like ideally with golf, you start with the driver, and then like you get to the iron or I don't know what they're called, and then by the end you're using the putter. But what's not ideal is to start with the putter. And then maybe you don't even know which direction you're going and you're not going towards the hole, right? And so if you're using the driver, you kind of go, okay, this is like the direction I need to go, take a big step in that direction, work on the smaller stuff later. So yeah, ideally you'd work in that kind of fashion, but what's more common is to kind of be less efficient. And I think that's the most common kind of thing that we see.
So we'll see like then I'm going to a Pablo Picasso, like non-perspective complete style at first. Like, how does that work?
I've seen one or two students sometimes they're not academically drawing correctly. Like they'll have strange proportions, but their lines are full of confidence. So it's a very interesting result. But that's not very common. It's a lot more common to see people who kind of they're trying to do something representational, but there's just a little bit of missing information, and so it's not quite reading.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say also that a lot of the stuff we teach apply to like representational art, and if that's not your goal, then you can throw a lot of the stuff out the window.
You guys ever work with concept art?
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, Chaitan actually is interested in
I have an interest in concept art and concept from life, since then you can come up with more interesting ideas and paint cooler stuff.
What about creating a superhero character? You almost had one here.
Oh no, that's realistic. That's a realism drawing.
Yeah, when I looked
that was drawn from life. That's how we look.
That's just
yeah. Let's not judge.
I know.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Have you done much character design? Like superhero?
Nice.
Yeah, this is like really old stuff now.
Yeah.
Scrolling down, it means you have to post now. I scrolled down.
That's not wrong.
You guys know Mountain Sparrow? Is that?
Oh,
that's Connor.
That's my
Oh, that's yours? Okay.
Yeah.
Check that one out. Oh yeah, that is yours. We were looking at that earlier.
Yeah.
You are selling in any galleries right now besides High Low Art Space?
We got high. Oh.
No, not at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, right now. No.
Ever thought about selling on Etsy or anything like that?
Thought
eBay?
about it. Hasn't happened yet. Yeah.
Last guest
stuff up there.
that came on was telling me that they were selling on eBay their stuff for like $40 a pop.
Okay.
Like there's apparently a niche art scene on there. I had no idea.
On Etsy, right?
On
eBay.
eBay. I didn't even know that. Really?
Yeah, I mean illustrations for like Magic the Gathering stuff, so they know that someone's gonna buy it.
It's the IP.
They hold auctions and then they promote them on social media, and so that worked pretty well for them.
Yeah. If you're drawing like an IP, people will flock to you and like just to make money. Like if you draw a comic book or anything,
it's actually really clever because if you're working for Magic the Gathering, you get paid the commission for doing the actual painting, and then you still maintain the painting as your property, so you can sell it and get twice the money.
Right,
for sure.
Yeah,
but that doesn't work if you paint digitally.
Well, how many? What are we at? 46 minutes. You guys want to talk about anything else? Any crazy stories?
Crazy stories.
Yeah.
Just studio related crazy stories. I know there's some. Yeah, I know there's some.
Let's tell them about the syrup man.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
So there's this guy who lives above the building, and we have this kind of a stoop, with like a garage door that we open up sometimes when it gets warm.
It opens out to like the sidewalk.
Yeah, right. And sometimes we have some guys just walking by and they'll sit down, like on the stoop. And I guess the guy who lives upstairs doesn't really like that, so he'll come down every now and then, and he pours like maple syrup or something just on there so they can't like sit down. It's pretty like bizarre.
So yeah, I've stepped in that before. I've been like, beautiful day, I'll throw open the garage door, and I step onto the thing without looking down, and I just hear like the sticky noise.
Full of maple syrup.
And it was actually last Friday, you didn't come in, but it happened again because the day before,
I saw that.
There were a bunch of people out there, and they were really loud, and I think they're playing music.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, probably, and smoking, having a good time, I guess. And Syrup Man didn't take to it, and so yeah, but I kept forgetting about it because that's where we keep the canvas on that side of the studio. Yeah. So I actually went to go get a canvas, and I stepped in the syrup. And I was like, no, not the syrup again. Man. And so I went and I cleaned off my shoes. And then I'm like, what was I doing? So I went back to get a canvas and stepped in the syrup. And then I was like, oh boy, how could I do this again? That was really dumb. And so then I went and I wiped off the shoes again. And then I put some water to boil so I can like wash off the syrup. And then I go back to get a canvas and I step in the syrup again.
Yeah.
It's like, you think you'd learn at some point.
Right.
But that was the most I've stepped in the syrup for sure.
And on your free time, what do you guys like to do? TV, video games, work, nature, more art?
You've been into climbing, right?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of climbing recently.
Rock climbing.
Rock climbing, yeah. Went out to Smith Rock a couple weeks ago. And I just like to get out and go camping, paint outside. A lot of art and like our free time, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not doing art, you're looking at art.
Right.
We've also been into language learning. Connor's learning Korean.
Mm-hmm.
How are you learning it?
Reading books and online. Actually, Chaitan just found this app the other day where
it's called Tandem. Check it out. Tandem. Download it. Google Play, iTunes. App Store.
App Store.
Apple App Store. But it's pretty cool. So it's like it's almost like social media, but you fill out your little profile and you say what languages you know, your native language, and what languages you're trying to learn. And then you'll get recommended people with the opposite of that. So people who know the languages you want to learn and are trying to learn the languages you know. And then you get matched with people from all over. So I'm trying to learn Russian, right? I like to go to school in St. Petersburg and places. And then you can just message them, be like, hey, you learning English? I'm learning Russian. And they go, oh, cool. Yeah, let's chat. So I've been, I done it like a week ago. And I've been having chats with people from Russia, from Kazakhstan, from the Ukraine, from Uzbekistan.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
From all over. It's kind of wild. It's really fun. People do all kinds of different stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, you can chat about different things. It's pretty cool. I recommend it. It's kind of a blast.
That is awesome. What else do you like to do for fun? Do you guys where do you like to go out to eat? If you go out, or do you like to cook at home more?
Cook at home a lot, definitely, but
I mostly eat home cooked food. We mostly, if we eat out, it's near the studio. There's a lot of good places right near there. A place opened up recently, Char Latin Grill.
Mhm.
I think it used to be a food truck. That place is pretty good.
Yeah,
Nice.
A Korean grocery called H Mart just opened up on Belmont and 33rd.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Is there a pizza place next to you?
New York,
from New York. I
straight
think.
from
Is
New
that
York.
good?
Yeah,
SFNY?
yeah, it's
Yeah, I've
really
had them
good.
before. They're pretty good.
Yeah,
No Baby Doll, but they're pretty good.
yeah.
Baby Doll's pretty close, right? I haven't been there.
They are, yeah, I think they're closer to you than to me, or else
Yeah.
I'd get them delivered, but I have to go through Postmates.
Oh
Right,
man,
Yeah. I just had a guy on before you. He does a pizza pop-up shop.
Oh no.
Baby Blue Pizza.
Oh, cool.
I think I want to try that. His pizza looks amazing.
Tell him to do a
Baby
pop up
Blue,
at Hilo
alright.
Art Space.
Yeah,
I should, man.
We would be glad to
Just,
have him.
I should tell
Right
him,
around
Doesn't need to
lunchtime.
pay us any rent. Just give us some pizza.
right? I'll
not-
play the
yeah.
music, and then
I'm a patron of pizza.
yeah,
so
yeah.
we'd be glad to host the pizza.
I'll do the
I
live
think so.
music, and you guys do art, and then the guy will serve the pizza.
That'd actually
That
be kind
sounds
of
like
cool.
a pretty great event.
I think so.
Yeah,
Okay, it's happening, guys. Check it out. Hilo Art Space.
Yeah, July
Pizza-
27th.
Pizza, paint, and poetry music.
Yeah.
Anyway, be there.
I like the sound of that. Let me see what else. Did you ever make anything really complex? Like, what's the most complex thing you've cooked so far?
cooked. Oh
I
man,
thought you were talking
Baked?
about painting.
Pastry chef?
I was thinking about painting.
I was too, yeah.
I was like, what's the longest thing I've
What is the most artisan thing?
most artisan
most
thing?
artistic thing you
Most
cook?
proud
Yeah, have you
Oh, man.
combined art and cooking yet?
of? I don't know. Let's see.
You definitely can. If you guys have seen Chef's Table, it's pretty incredible. I don't know
That's
if
a
you've
good
ever
show.
like.
I think
Yeah.
I've seen a little bit of it.
Watch it.
pretty neat.
Watch it on Netflix. Hulu. It's only on Netflix.
I've
isn't
seen
it?
Art Candy. They've made like candy. They show molding it like clay. It's really cool.
Wow, nice.
Okay, I don't know if you've seen this. There's some Japanese show. It's some comedy show, but they had a segment they did where they had like top class confectioners. What is it?
That
Confectionaries.
sounds right.
Top class confectioners. They had them make pastries or desserts or something that looked like household objects,
Mm.
and then the comedians or celebrities or whatever had to guess what was real and what was candy
That's
by
awesome.
biting into it. So you see like this picture of like there's a really popular like animated GIF that came from it where this lady is like biting on a door handle and it like breaks off and it's chocolate. She goes, "Whoa!" and her eyes light up. But it's really funny because
It's
yeah,
so cheesy.
it's really hilarious because when they mess up, they're just biting into a household object.
Yeah,
They
totally.
do a good job. There's like a sponge that really looked like it was a sponge, but it was actually candy.
Wow,
It's amazing.
it's a really funny way to spend your time, but it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Don't go on YouTube, guys.
Don't go on YouTube,
Don't do it.
guys.
Don't look up Japanese comedy shows on YouTube.
Oh no, age restricted.
Age restricted.
Whoa, slow down.
They have some crazy game shows in Japan that I'm not gonna even mention, but it has involved karaoke, and it's insane how far they've come. How outrageous some of their game shows have
I
been.
think
Oh,
the most
man.
outrageous thing I've seen was I forget what it's called, but there was a show where they have a guy who has to stay in an apartment and he has to get by entering like the kind of lottery things you get in magazines or whatever where you send something in and you have a chance at winning something.
Yeah.
So I think they gave him like a certain amount of food every day. Did they? They might not even have given him food. And he definitely didn't. I don't think he got to start with clothes either. And so he was just in an empty apartment, and he got like a stack of magazines to send in like stuff. And he was stuck like alone, no contact with the outside world, and all he could do was send in like these lottery things. And they had to see how long it would take for him to like get a certain amount of stuff, and then they would let him out or something. And
Wow.
and it actually he ended up winning a lot of stuff, and like but it was very random stuff, like even like a whole huge amount of rice, but like nothing else, and so it was pretty bizarre. And he definitely
himself the
he
rice
talked
bag.
about it afterwards, and like had an insane psychological effect on him. Being trapped inside this apartment with no human contact except for
Yeah.
these, send and rebate things. That was pretty wild. And the same guys did another one where there was a girl inside a room with like a gymnastics high bar, and her goal was to do like a great circle, I think they call it, when you do like all the way around the bar. And
Wow.
she only was given food depending on how much she practiced. And she was given like upgrades depending on like certain milestones. She could do a pullover, she could like certain upgrades to the room. But that was also like pretty insane. It was
That was a TV show.
yeah, you can find it on YouTube, I think.
It's a YouTube series.
No, it was an older thing, like about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But someone subtitled it.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty weird. I was like, wow,
that's
like,
interesting.
I feel like there's some human rights stuff in there somewhere.
Yeah, there's been discussions.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of discussions about that show, and I don't think it runs anymore.
Do you guys ever do any collaborative pieces together, or would you?
We used to.
Yeah, we used to do some
relay drawing kind of
relay
stuff.
stuff. Yeah.
These days, I don't think we directly collaborate so much, but we do bounce a lot of ideas off of each other.
Yeah, definitely.
But there's less of like working on the same exact canvas.
Right.
Yeah.
We've talked about doing a few pieces like that, but hasn't happened yet. Yeah.
You critique each other's work.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So you both can take constructive criticism.
We can take constructive abuse. Yeah.
Do you get offended ever when it's too far with the criticism?
I don't think so.
Yeah, no. I mean,
because it's never like personal. It's like,
right.
Hey, this seems like something's off. So I mean, like, I'm not going to take that person. He's like, oh, dang, he's probably right.
Yeah.
So instead, it's like, it's almost like I want to hear that, since then I can try to figure out ways I can improve my game and make sure stuff like that doesn't crop up. So I'm happy to hear that kind of stuff, because if I don't know what's wrong, it's bothersome, because obviously I'm not like the grandmaster yet. So if I don't know what's wrong, then it's bad.
Yeah, you can't improve if you don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's really good to hear that kind of stuff, and it's really great to have artists around.
Nice.
Yeah. I think that's a better way to look at it than, like, my art's perfect. I don't want anyone to, criticize me. Or something. Yeah.
Guys, do anything special for Easter? I didn't do anything.
I called my grandparents and
that's good.
Asked them how church went, and that was it. Yeah.
Should have done that.
Yeah, me neither. Just hung out with friends and family.
Guys, ever do any gardening?
Used to.
If I had garden space, yeah, maybe.
Well, there's community garden space you could always do.
Yeah, that's true. I've been thinking about that. Yeah, I wonder if there are any near me.
There's Adams Community Gardens, the closest one to me. It's like kind of by Forest Park.
Okay,
I'm paying
I'm
about
in Southeast, so
$50 a year. Then there's probably a closer one to you for sure. Then
that's a good rate.
That's a good price, man.
Yeah, nice.
200 square feet. Yeah.
I mean, just how does it work? Like, you can only like harvest your own stuff, or like?
I mean, your neighbor probably has an abundant amount. I mean, my neighbor was giving me blueberries and stuff.
Cool.
Raspberries.
Yeah,
but yeah,
awesome.
I grew potatoes, cucumbers.
Cool.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Last
summer, there's a high school. It's pretty close to our house.
Yeah.
And they have like this gardening program, but during the summer, the students aren't there, so they'll like let you rent little plots. Nice. So we did that last summer, and we had a lot of like squash and stuff rolling in, tomatoes. That was good.
You grew squash. What'd you eat? What'd you make with that?
It's Indian food you can make with squash. Nice. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's a difficulty I have. When I grow stuff, I'm like, what am I going to do with it? So I've been growing stuff that I haven't been using. So this year I'm going to try to grow stuff that I'm only going to eat. So it's like down to potatoes, garlic, and cucumbers and tomatoes. It's pretty not as much. I got to learn to cook with other vegetables, I guess. Yeah, you guys eat more vegetables or meat?
Chaitan's vegetarian, so he mostly eats meat. But
well, you like the vegan pizza guy that was just on before, and he's like, "There's not a lot of that around here."
Oh yeah, I'm not vegan though. I love the dairy. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I've let you down, vegans. That's all right though. It was worth it.
What's your favorite kind of cheeses?
Oh man, mozzarella's pretty up there. Oh
nice.
Well, yeah, you're biased though.
You like that blue cheese? I hope.
I don't like smelly cheese.
All right. No goat
I've never
cheese.
gotten close enough to get interested,
cheese. Yeah. I'm not really like a huge like cheese guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't live without any cheese whatsoever.
Oh yeah, I mean more like dairy, like yogurt and ice cream.
Ice cream. Yes, I love ice cream.
Yeah, I drink milk too. I like milk.
Like a good oatmeal cookie, chocolate chip cookie dough, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, in general, Indian food uses a lot of like dairy sometimes. So
nice.
Yeah.
You like spicy?
Yeah, I like spicy. I can handle quite a bit, but there's a certain point for me when it's less about like, oh yeah, it's nice and spicy, and more about tolerating it, and that's where I don't like it. So I don't get the people who are like the ghost pepper challenge, or like, I'm gonna put tons of chili. I like it as a flavor, but
Like that wing show on YouTube.
I don't know if anyone
kind
eats
of a
ghost
fun interview
peppers for
idea.
fun.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah, but not like. Well, I mean, just for like the
Oh yeah.
kind of weird like sadistic enjoyment of that kind of thing. But like,
yeah.
I don't know if they eat it just like I need a meal.
Right.
When am I gonna eat a ghost pepper? You know.
Yeah, you can find you can find videos where people do regret the ghost pepper.
Have you been to Lemongrass? This is a Thai restaurant in Southeast.
I don't think I have.
It's kind of this like converted house. I think they got it like what do you call it? Like rezoned, so that it's like a house, but they got it reconverted or rezoned, so it's like a legit restaurant.
Nice.
Right by the
No. It's like a ways off, but you walk in and you sit down, and the guy comes up to you and you order, and then he says, "Have you been here before?" And if you haven't, you're like, "No." And he's like, "So we have like a 1 to 10 like spicy scale, right? The most that like any other Thai restaurant will go to, like in comparison to ours, is like a 2."
Wait, really? 2?
Yeah, no,
It's
no.
2?
I think it was 2.
What's
But
the point of that?
It was just so wild. He's like, we're not gonna cut back the spice for these
What'd you
people. So we got a 1, right?
Oh.
And it was like, it was so spicy. Just the 1 was so spicy.
1 out of 10.
1 out of 10. Yeah. So we left like with red faces, wondering like who the hell would get a 9, and like
Right.
I would have gotten a 2,
My
and I
ex.
probably would have.
I know.
Wow.
Oh man. But anyways, yeah, it's also like a great restaurant if you guys are looking for a good place to eat. Lemongrass. Lemongrass in Southeast.
Different spices affect people differently. Like for whatever reason, I can have as much wasabi as you can give me in it, and it's fine. But give me like something pepper based, and it's too much.
Yeah, it's a different
thing
feel. Definitely.
I read about it. It's different. Like physiologically, it's different chemicals that cause the different feelings. So the spiciness from a pepper is going to be different than the spiciness from ginger, which is going to be different from wasabi.
Right.
And there's a 4th one. I think black pepper is a little different than like Thai peppers. So there's different chemicals that will cause the spicy reaction, and so I think that's kind of why some people handle stuff differently.
Yeah, like cilantro, 10% tastes like soap.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think 10%
broccoli does that too, right?
Really,
Like,
broccoli?
a certain percentage of people don't like broccoli because it tastes different to them.
But not like soap, right? I haven't heard that.
It tastes like really bad to them, from what I understand.
right.
I don't remember exactly.
As a kid, I was like, how can anyone not like broccoli? That's the go-to vegetable.
Tomatoes too. I've heard some people like salsa, but they don't like tomatoes. Have you ever heard that?
I'm kind of like that. I feel like that. It's like I can have salsa, but I need a lot of chip to go along with that salsa.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You don't
why.
like tomatoes, like just raw tomatoes?
I've had raw tomatoes. It doesn't taste as good as with tomato with anything else. I don't know. Like I need something else to eat with the tomato usually.
Right. But it doesn't like bother you, right?
No, it doesn't bother me. I wouldn't say.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Genetics.
Wow.
It's wild.
Yeah, if you cook, there's a kind of bottle gourd you get, and I think bottle gourd. Yeah, and if you cook it with cumin in a certain way, it like triggers a gag reflex for me. It like tastes. Even the smell of it, I'm like, oh no.
That's so specific.
It's very specific. I wonder if maybe I like had a bad instance with it as a child or something, and it just became like deeply rooted in my memory.
I think that happened with me with Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops.
I threw up some Fruit Loops when I was little.
Oh no!
And like one of those all over the bed little kid thing, and like I think that ruined Fruit Loops ever since then. And when I get that whiff of that smell, even though I haven't smelled it in like 20 years, but like probably would do it for me.
That's super funny.
Yeah, it's okay. Fruit Loops are overrated. You're not missing much.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for coming in.
Yeah.
Thanks for
hosting us.
Everyone go to Hilo Art Space. They have an event coming up on May 3rd and May 5th.
May 5th is not at the art space.
May 3rd. Instruction if you want to learn how to draw and paint and all that.
Come check us out.
And
come check out. We're gonna have a pop-up with music by Joseph 80. We're gonna have pizza from
Baby Blue PDX.
Baby Blue PDX. I don't even know the Baby Blue guy, but it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah. And anyone that wants to subscribe to the People of Portland and Beyond YouTube channel, first 5 subscribers are gonna get free meals from MealPal. It's a new app out there. You pick up lunch for $5 in Portland. So
right on.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Peace.